Trump Indictment Part Trois is coming at you, obviously by myself, since Kevin's off doing some weird charity thing he does with, I think it's clowns or something. I'm not sure what it was. I'll have to, let me see what it was a second, see if I can put it up on the screen. Oh, yeah. Fishing for clown colleges.
Annual fishing for clown colleges, because clowns gotta eat too.
It's something Kevin's really passionate about. So he will not be here, but we will be getting the episode started in 3, 2, 1, go. Hello, America. It's time to check the nonsense at the door, clear the cobwebs between your ears, and have a rational-ish conversation. This is the lost art of common sense. That's right, America. I'm Josh, and this is the lost art of common sense, where normally me and Kevin look at whatever's going on and discuss the local goings on and try to put a common sense spin on it. But since Kevin's busy helping feed clowns, I'm doing this all on my own today. So we'll see how that goes. Like I said at the opening, this is part trois of the Trump indictments. And these are kind of interesting because they're charging him for inciting the January. It kind of has to do with the January 6th inciting and what happened. But basically what they're saying is he knew that he lost the election and he lied to the other people. And why does he know that he lied and he knew that he lost? Because government agencies told him so, which, you know, maybe in a perfect world that might hold up in court, even though this is purely a First Amendment case. But if I was him, I would definitely bring up a crap ton of COVID examples and drop Fauci's name quite a few times. The one thing about this indictment, which I think is different than others, is since they're saying that he's basically lying and saying, no, he knew he lost the election, but he was telling people he didn't and whatever, or he chose not to listen to his advisors saying, no, sir, you lost. And according to Mike Pence, his crackpot lawyers told him that he didn't and he could do something else about it. That to me, that would give his lawyers the opportunity for discovery and subpoena power into the actual 2020 election. That's just me. I don't know if that's possible, but I would think if I was getting charged by the federal government for the 2020 or for things I said about the 2020 election, I'm like, all right, well, none of the cases were really brought up in court and everything was postponed. So let's go ahead and take a look back at the 2020 election and see if I was actually lying, not only to the American people, but to myself. Because to this day, I don't think anyone around Trump or even when he's on TV has ever conceded the fact that he lost the election. I think he believes wholeheartedly that he won. And a lot of people, including Kevin and I, think there was a lot of shenanigans or irregularities that went on in the most secure election in history, even though this is the same election where they literally found boxes full of ballots in ditches. Strange. But that's what I would do. So I'd be interested to see what's going to come out on this indictment. I mean, I think another interesting thing with these indictments is the last three things that had to do with indictments and adding to already charges filed is they come out the day after anything has to do with Biden. Like Biden is whatever. Kevin's not here to correct my words, but Biden is being accused of receiving bribes. Oh, better drop some legal thing on Trump. See, the last one was Hunter Biden's buddy talking to one of the committees. So, and then this one dropped, and there was some other one. It all has to do with Biden. If there's bad news for Biden, they pretty much add another charge to Trump. And apparently, if he does get indicted in Georgia, that sheriff's going to do standard protocol. If we indict Trump, he's getting a mugshot. And it'll probably end up being the number one selling t-shirt in America. So, if he does get indicted in Georgia, apparently there will be a mugshot. So, there's that. But with these indictments piling up, it may be time to kind of look to what this means for the country because they've had I wish I remember the guy's name, not good with names, but Hunter's buddy that testified. They do all this stuff and they say it's not a big deal. Oh, Biden did do this, Biden did do that. And then, I mean, we can look back and whether you like him or hate him, the first impeachment was total bullshit. The second impeachment was total bullshit. And if you don't believe that, you're probably kind of a dummy because they were both proven to be bullshit. And then the January 6th people, which they were stupid and they went after them with an iron fist, and now constantly indicting Trump for this, that, or the other. And it just shows that I mean, they're calling it a two-tier justice system, and I think they're right. So if you agree with that, go ahead and let me know in the comments because you can like, share, subscribe, follow, and all that good stuff. But it just seems like we're going down a path where it's going to be hard to come back from because the only thing that stinks when you have something like this, where you have the Democrats doing all these impeachments or all these investigations, I mean, heck, and they're talking about Trump denying the election. There were literally riots in the street after Trump's inauguration because people were saying that he stole the election and Hillary won. And another thing is, if he's going to be charged for supposedly knowingly lying, which led to the January 6th riots, then every Democrat politician that did the whole hands up, don't shoot shit that led to the riots in Missouri needs to be charged as well because it was proven that that was a lie and they stoked the fire, which resulted in violence, property damage, and I think the death of 2 cops. Could be wrong in that, but pretty sure I heard that. So, like I said, if you're going to set a precedent, what I don't want to happen though is like anytime there's a shift in Republican or Democrat, then it's like, all right, now it's the Republicans' turn to go after the Democrats and the Democrats' turn to go after the Republicans and blah, 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 blah. I mean, if we just keep doing that, then, I mean, we're already on a slippery slope. Anybody who thinks that we're healthy as a culture and a country and stuff like that, either their goals for themselves, their kids in this country do not align with the original founding fathers' idea of what this country should be, or they're just ignorant and don't know what the hell's going on. They just do whatever the old tube or internet or social media site they go to tells them to do. We're not good as a country. I mean, you literally have the mayor of New York City saying, we need to close the border because they have homeless people on certain nights that are lined up all the way around the hotel where they're put up at because they're running out of room. So, I mean, just between that and this Biden economics, I mean, seriously, how can somebody brag about that? And what's this up with this? Like, I don't know. There's like 30% of the people like, yeah, economy's working great. I'm not sure how that is unless you're super rich and you're kind of insulated from it or you're living off the government because I don't know about where y'all are at, but diesel jumped up like 50 cents a gallon here. So I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that Bidenomics is not working. It's just me. It could be wrong. Gas might be only $1 a gallon where you're from and everything's peachy clean. So I don't know. It's just we live in a weird time and it seems like there's a lot of bad stuff going on and our country's falling apart. And hear people talk about it all the time. And one of the pet peeves that I have is even I don't care if it's Democrats, Republicans, conservatives, liberals, independents. This includes Tucker Carlson, pretty much anybody on Fox News. Can't remember her name, but we do not live in a democracy. This is not a democracy. This is not a democratic republic. We live in a constitutional republic. It is not a democracy. Democracies do not work. Democracy just goes with the whim of whatever bullshit some guy trying to get into power promises the people, and then that power is not delivered. And then guess what? They just keep voting for people because well, I didn't get it this time, but if you vote for me next time, I will go ahead and get you that candy machine on every street corner. That way no one will go hungry and everyone will have some kind of generic government processed, may or may not have sawdust in the ingredients, protein bar. So vote for me. Like, irks me every time. It's like words matter. We are not a democracy. We are not majority rule country. That's why every time the Democrats lose a presidential election, they're like, "But Hillary won the majority. She got the popular vote." Well, guess what, dipshits? That doesn't matter. You can have a baseball team that has a shit ton of hits, but they can't convert the hits to runs. So the other team, if they have more runs, they win. You might have 100 hits, but only one run, and the other team has 20 hits and 20 runs. So guess what? The team with the most runs wins. The team with the most hits doesn't mean shit. Same thing with football. If you can't convert your yardage into touchdowns, it doesn't matter how many yards you have, because the only thing that matters is touchdowns. Like with our electoral college, the only thing that matters is electoral votes. So it doesn't matter how many votes you have in some big ass city where everybody like lives in some weird, I wouldn't even say utopia at this point, because well, we've seen in the news that how the big cities are going, but yeah, okay. So and so got 10 million votes out of between California and New York City, but they won over the whole Midwest. So guess what? They got more electoral votes. And the bigger states with the bigger populations do have more electoral votes. So it's not like it's, oh no, we're being disenfranchised like the people in, Arizona who flat out couldn't vote. And then there wasn't even a special election held in 2022. Nothing weird with that. Nothing to see here, ladies and gentlemen. But between all that and then Trump being indicted and all this stuff going on and just piling up, I don't know why they keep indicting him. And the prosecutor, Jack something, I think his name's Jack. I don't want to give a shit what his name is. He seemed a little clammy, a little nervous. That's kind of weird. Like if you're going to indict somebody, do it with, conviction. Like, yeah, I'm indicting you again. And I may or may not have just opened myself up into discovery for the 2020 election. But yeah. Is that the world you want to live in where no one is willing to run for president other than, you know, psychopathic assholes that just want it for the power? It's like, hey, he's a sociopath. Let's make him president because no one worth a shit's going to, because you get into politics and everybody goes after you. Or I think they're doing this as a reminder or a little warning in the back of people's heads that if you try to get out of line, we're coming after you. And along those lines, let's go ahead and talk about Pence and how he's been acting lately. He has no chance in hell of ever becoming president. I don't care if you're a Trump fan or what. I think he's a rhino. He used to be a Democrat. Then he was like, oh, no, I'm super conservative. And I'm American history philosopher. And I know what I can and can't do. And I told him and blah, blah, blah. It's like, what the heck ever? It's like when he was getting pressed by Tucker Carlson, I think he minced his words, but like when you're saying, yeah, we need to send money to Ukraine and the American people aren't, your business, that's not how you win elections. I think he meant to say municipalities takes care of what Tucker was saying, but he didn't say that. He said, that's not my job. And that's why you're not getting the job. Sorry, Pence. Sorry. But he seems to be getting. It seems with his. I think he's getting tired of being asked about Trump because his answers seem to be getting a little bit more snarky. Seems a little cranky. So I don't know what's up with that. Maybe he needs some more hard candy before he goes on an interview. But he seems like he's been a little angry lately. Ever since the Tucker Carlson thing, he's not all, yeah, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to come and do that, and I know how to do things right, and I can stand, if I can stand up to Trump, I can stand up to anybody. Vote for Pence. Nope, it's not going to happen. Not going to happen. I don't even know if DeSantis has a shot at this point. I think if Trump doesn't get it, I think it's going to go down to the next one. I don't think Chris Christie has a chance now either. That dude literally got into the race to talk shit. That's all he does. He's there to disrupt and talk shit. He's like, oh, no, I'm Mr. Perfect. I know what to do and what we should do because I was governor of New Jersey, and now it's like one of the most communist places. Not on his watch, it's on his predecessor, but whatever. And when everyone's else locked in their home, I'm out sunning myself and spotted by a helicopter by miles away. I'm not going to say why, but let's just say there might have been a large reflective thing on the beach. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what's up with that. Let me know what you think about Chris Christie. Do you like him? Do you hate him? Why do you think he is in the race? Comment below. But that's what's going on. Well, you know what? Comment below. Let me know if you think Trump is, what his chances of actually being charged are. Do you think they're going to stretch it out to where, he can't do anything about New York or Georgia, but if you stretch it out long enough and he does get elected president, I guarantee he's just going to pardon himself. So, you know. I think another thing that we didn't break up on the show, and I'm going to be jumping around a lot because I didn't write any notes because it's just me, and, well, deal with it. I'd be curious to hear in the comments what people think about the old press secretary when they were asked if Biden would pardon his son, and it was a hard no. And I kind of wonder if at some point, if Hunter doesn't get the deal that he was expecting or wanting, I'm wondering if he would actually turn on his dad, because drug addicts tend to not be overly trustworthy, especially when it comes to, well, I don't want to go to jail, so I'm going to go ahead and say that my dad did know everything. So, and it was asked whether or not something he did in the past could be impeachable. And apparently Gerald Ford said basically whatever Congress thinks is impeachable is impeachable. It's not really a set thing where if you break this law, you get impeached. You can get impeached for just doing a shitty job, which, Biden could be on the fence for that. But if you're just a total shit ass president and, the Court of Public Appeals says this guy's crap and we want him out, they can impeach him for that. As long as they have the votes, it doesn't matter what you impeach somebody for. You'd be like, you know what? That guy looked at me sideways the other day. Oh, yeah, that happened to you too? Yeah. Oh, shit, it happened to all of us. We should all impeach him. I can do it. So there's that. But, yeah, it's getting old with all these indictments, so I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I think it's just going to bump his numbers up again because a lot of people are seeing there's too much stuff going on simultaneously. So they're hammering Trump for arguably a bunch of bullshit. And then they're not hammering Hunter. Like that Hunter indictment or plea deal where they're basically going to give him blanket immunity for whatever he wants to do is just, there's too much of a contrast. Like they're proving the conspiracy theorist point. So I don't think these constant indictments is going to do anything. And I don't even know how the Georgia one could be an indictment because he didn't say manufacture votes. He didn't say go out and find me bogus votes. He said find the votes. And well, like I said, when you're finding boxes and boxes of ballots in ditches, that's not an off the wall thing to say. So I don't know. I just think that we're in trouble as far as our institutions go, our population, our mindset. We got a bunch of people that think that people can do good on just any certain moral compass. Like, oh yeah, well, we don't need God, we have morals. Well, the problem with morals is they're kind of set by whatever society and the current culture sets it at. So that bar moves. So it's not like, at least with religion, you have like the 10 Commandments in Christianity, set in stone, moral rules that don't change. And up until this recent, this newfound Christianity where it's like, oh yeah, you can do whatever you want. God loves you. You can do whatever. I don't get down with that. I mean, if that helps you find God and stay faithful and, whatever, good for you. But I'm just not a big fan of that stuff. I think it's Christianity light. But without that, because that's what's happening, Christianity light is the moral compass has moved. The line has been pushed. And you wouldn't say in a normal moral, look at it today. It is now considered the moral and right thing to do to affirm someone's mental disorder. no matter what it is, or mental confusion. Oh, it's better if you just affirm whatever they think right now, because if you actually confront them and make them deal with whatever issue is causing this, that could hurt their feelings. So we must do things that 10 years ago would be considered crazy. That's what happens when you rely your societal standards on purely a self given moral code. I don't have to worry about that because I'm a moral person. If that was true, the crime rates wouldn't be skyrocketing in all the major cities. So just remember that. I'm not, saying you have to go out and find God. Wouldn't be a bad idea, especially with what's going on. But I'm just saying that you can track it. Just a standard societal moral code is set by whoever's in charge and the whim of the people. And so, which means your morals are going to change up and down, up and down. You go back in society, they did some pretty jacked up shit to people out in the square, even during religious times. I mean, but so I don't think it's enough. And I don't think we're doing that good. Like I've said like 16 times in this episode. Sorry for repeating myself, but it's true. So that kind of wraps up. I don't know what else to say about the indictment. I mean, he flew into Washington, got it. I know he's going to go for a venue change. Probably won't get it. And then he flew back to New Jersey, and that was pretty much the day. No mug shots, no fuss. I was kind of surprised that he didn't make a statement from what I'm aware of, because when he did it, I don't think he came out and said anything. So I was surprised at that. But that pretty much gives you the gist of Trump Indictment Part Trois. Again, I hope I'm saying that right. But I think that wraps this episode up. Don't really have much to talk about. Like I said, I could have made notes and wrote down stuff and done a more professional solo episode like a lot of people do. But if you've been watching the show, we're not the most professional people on the planet. We're all about having fun and being average Joes and just letting the people know what the hell we're thinking. So until next time, I'm Josh.
And I'm Kevin, fishing for clouds.
We'll see you next week, everybody. This has been another awesome episode of The Lost Art of Common Sense. Common sense, baby! We'll see you next week.